Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode of the 100 species ecosystem tank, we're going to add 7 new species of both plants and animals to the tank. I'm going to dive deep into how to prepare your plants, how to propagate plants and grow them out into a bigger patch and therefore save some money. We're also adding 3 new animal species to the tank today. I'm going to explain how I acclimate them to their new water conditions, and before we do all of that, we have to go 2 months back into the past. So today I would like to start something new, something that I've never tried before. I got these plants here from my local pet store, and it's a super tiny container, as you can tell. But it costs an awful lot of money. So this small container costs 10 euros, so roughly $12, I would say, if you compare it to US prices. And it's really a high quality plants. I at least read that in the internet, and they really look great and healthy. But it's just a tiny container. Maybe would be enough for like maybe this part of the aquarium, just the foreground, but it's not enough at all. So I want to try and use these plants for a really huge tank. I want to use them for a 300-400 liter tank in the future and cover the whole foreground with those plants. But for that I want to multiply them first, because I don't want to spend 100 or 200 euros just on those tiny plants. So my shrimps can chill in them. But I want to use something or a technique that I saw on the internet. For that, I'm going to use this aquarium soil, aqua soil. I still have it laying around. I bought this tank for 20 bucks, very cheap, 54 liter tank. And this aquarium soil, I think you can get it on Amazon quite cheap. You can probably also use any other substrate for that. And what I will do is, I will just quickly pour this into the aquarium here. That's not really enough for the whole tank, but for the purposes of my little experiment, it will be enough, I think. I will just quickly turn the tank around to get it closer to the light, because I want to use natural light to grow these plants. Just going to move it a little bit to have all the aqua soil on one half of the tank. And now I'm going to get the plants. Going to spread them out a little bit on with some scissors, and then plant them in here and put some water in it, and then I will put a lid on the tank. And then we will see if they actually grow. I just opened the lid and poured out the water from the plants, and as you can see, they form some kind of ball in this gel-like substrate. And what I will do now is I will spread them out on a piece of cardboard, and then I can use this small plantlings and insert them into the soil. And then I want to get from this to the whole surface here. I want to get the whole surface covered. Right, so now I created these cutlings here with my super professional plant scissor that I also got from the pet store, which is actually quite amazing. And I created these small cutlings here. I mean, you saw the ball before, just to give the plants later more space to grow and to expand, because that's what I want them to do, right? And for that, it's way easier if they start in from this smaller culture, sort of, than from the large culture. That's the idea behind it. And now I'm going to water the plants a little bit, or the soil a little bit, but not too much actually, because I don't wanna fill up the whole aquarium with water. So just a little bit. Trying not to disturb the aqua soil too much here. Aquarium plants often grow faster if they are not fully immersed in water. Maybe it has something to do with the sunlight that reaches their leaves easier this way. or with some other effects. I have no clue. Or they are actually not original water plants, but just land plants. I'm not 100% sure. If you know something that could explain this effect, you could really drop a comment. I'm quite interested in these things. It's just what I saw based on my research in other YouTube videos. And now I'm going to use this pair of, I don't know how to call it, tweezers or something. And I'm simply going to plant my plants. I'm quickly going to camera, just show you the view from above as well. So to be honest, it looks a little shitty, I would say. It doesn't look very pretty, but that's not the goal here, right? The goal is that in 1 month or maybe 2 months, depending on the sunlight situation, that this whole patch is green in the end, and then I can use these plants and just put them into my bigger tank that is not established yet, and to save a lot of money with that, because that's $10 here. And actually it would be hundreds of bucks if you, or $100 probably, if you got 10 packages of those.
All right, let's turn on the time machine and check them out in 2 months. So I'm quite impressed by the results. I've never tried this before. I'm sure I can optimize somewhere, but the harvest looks insane. So I plucked them out of the aqua soil and super green, super fresh. They look very healthy. Obviously the next step is to insert them into the big tank. You can see that I tried to sprinkle some aqua soil on top of the sand because I already anticipate a small problem. These plants have roots that are very short, and until they reach the nutrient layer, it would take some time. So I'm trying to do it like this. So let's see how it will go in the future. As promised in the intro of this video, I'm going to unbox the fish and nerite snails and plants that I've bought at my local fish store, fish and plant store, if you will. So let's open up this big bucket here. As you can see, it was bought at Cuba. I really love it. Bit expensive, but high quality. We have the Corydoras here with some snails. Here we have some, we have some more nerite snails, zebra nerites. So not the nerites, the black nerites, the big ones that we have in the tank, but zebra nerites, and some red-rimmed melania snail. First things first, so let's first try to acclimate them. I don't use a drip acclimation technique. I just acclimate them by pouring water with a small glass in there. And while they are acclimating, so while they are adjusting to the new temperature of their new ecosystem and the new water parameters, I can take some time and prepare the plants. First plant is the Vallisineria. The second one is Anubias bateri. I think you can tell that the quality of these Anubias is quite crazy, like super green, super healthy plants, very healthy leaves, and actually the leaves, the newer leaves are always a little lighter green colored, so they are very healthy and grow fast. These Vallisinerias also look nice, but they have some old leaves that are already brown. You can see it at the big one here, which I don't like. I'm not used to that from Cuba, from the local pet store, but maybe it was just an old, let's say, plant delivery. Now I'm preparing them. I always remove this stone wool or whatever this substrate is called. In German, it's called like this. Well, Steinwolle in German, for those of you who speak German. But in English, I think it's called stone wool, or it's a weird substrate that I don't like to have in my tank, so I always remove it. Then you can see that the plant looked very healthy in the animal store, but I had to remove these leaves, otherwise they would just directly rot. And also the the root system of this plant is not super healthy. Some roots were already rotten, which I didn't like a lot. I hope they will survive in the tank. So I cut away most of the roots, as I always do, because the roots usually break when you insert them, will rot, and then methane and stuff will form, which you don't want in your tank, or you don't need, and other things. So I also removed these more healthy roots from this Vallisineria, and this is a big Vallisineria species, which I heard grows really fast if you have it in a tank. Remember, always keep them wet while you prepare them. These are water plants and they will just die when you stress them with too much time out of the water. So now similar preparation for the small Vallisineria species. I try to put them into as many small plantlings as possible, so they are already you can already propagate them, which is kind of nice, I would say, because you'd assume that you get one plant from the animal store, but if you turn them into smaller chunks, you actually get 10 or 15 plants. If you then plant them into separate parts, they really become like a small jungle of Vallisineria, which is something that I aim for. Next on our list for preparing plants is Anubias bateri nana, the beautiful ones that we saw already before. Again, I'm removing this weird stone wool substrate kind of thingy because I don't want to have that in my tank. It looks disgusting and is also not really natural. And the Anubias have the tendency to really cling super hard to this. So I had a hard time removing it actually. As you can see here, I'm struggling a little bit, which also speaks for the health of these plants. So the quality with those plants is really, really good. I'm really happy with that. Unlike the Vallisineria, both the Vallisineria australis gigantea and the Vallisineria spiralis tiger, both didn't really have best health signs, I would say. But the Anubias do. And you can really see me struggling here. Like, I can't get rid of this weird stone wool stuff. I'm trying forever, and the last resort, so to say, is to use my tool here, and then I just go to the tap and pour some water over it. That's the only way to do it, really. Also, with one of them, I used another technique, or a special technique that I saw on the internet. I got some stones that were already in the substrate, so they stay on the ground, and I used these stones and my glue that I use from JBL, and just pour some glue over it and try to fix some of the roots of the Anubias to these roots. So I'm a little more free with where to place them, or where to place this one specific Anubias later on in the tank. Because with Anubias, it's a very different plant from the position point of view than Vallisineria and all the other plants we already have in the tank. Since Anubias are plants that you have to put on rocks, otherwise they won't really grow. I tried to put Anubias, like these Anubias nana or Anubias bateri nana, into soil in other setups, and they don't grow. And after some months, or Anubias die very slowly, but after a very long time, they simply die, and this is very unfortunate. So yeah, you would want to prevent that at any cost. So the way to go for Anubias is put them on a root, for instance, or put them on a stone, or put them on these stones and just let them float over some hardscape. That's usually the way they grow best, or at least the way that I have experienced them growing best. And in the end, it also looks great. I will show you in a minute in the tank. All right, so now we have officially arrived at the fun part of this video. I'll start with inserting the plants to give our fish and snails some more time to acclimate to their new water parameters and temperature. And I'll start with the Vallisineria australis gigantea, this beautiful, gigantic Vallisineria here. The goal is to put it in there and directly inside the current of the filter or of the pump, basically. I want this, you can already see it here. I want this look where the leaves float, so to say, in the current of the water to create this river-like natural style. And you can also already tell that the guppies and the molly are quite excited about their new plant, because this comes from another tank, so it has another biofilm on it. And since guppies and mollies are great biofilm or algae eaters, they love munching on plant leaves. And I just assume that this is a new taste for them that they don't know. Tastes different than their dry food or their powder food or their flakes, and also different to what they know from their tank. Remember, these fish have been in the same ecosystem for 15 years, basically. It's just a new tank that they have now, and now they get new plants for the first time. The second Vallisineria australis gigantea goes right in front of the filter. Again, I aim for this look where it flows, or the leaves flow in the water, to create this real Amazon river like look. And yeah, I'm struggling a little bit to push it in, but in the end it really helps to have a deep substrate here. Let's continue with the smaller Vallisineria species, the Vallisineria spiralis tiger. You can see that I plant them inside the cryptocorynes as well as in front of the cryptocorynes. And I'm trying to put them just everywhere in the tank. I don't know how these plants grow. I think I had them 15 years ago when I was young. I think I remember that they grow insane, but let's see. Let's continue with Anubias bateri nana. So as I said before, with Anubias it's a little more tricky. You cannot put them into the soil, or you should not put them into the soil, because according to my experience they don't really grow that well in the soil. You should rather stick them to a root or on a stone, on any kind of hardscape that you have. Or I'll try also this technique later where I put it in to the on the soil or on the stone, where I glued some stones at it so it stays underwater, basically. Just using these ones to create like a small Anubias forest on the left, because in the future I definitely plan to get something like amphipods, shrimp, maybe crustaceans, like bigger crustaceans, like dwarf crayfish that some of you guys suggested in the comments of the last video. And for them, I think it would be cool to have this sort of like Anubias forest to, first of all, eat or feast on the biofilm that grows on the Anubias leaves, and also to chill within the leaves, because it's a very thick leaf. None of the species in this tank can actually eat Anubias. I think not even cichlids can eat them. That may be because Anubias bateri nana originally is from Africa. And as you may know, I mean, this is not a cichlid tank here, but it's still interesting. Cichlids are also from Africa. African cichlids are from Africa, obviously. So no animal can really eat their leaves because they are so super thick. And just look at them. I mean, they look so amazing already in this tank. And I really like that they are like sort of forming the canopy of the tank, despite being a rather small plant. And if you put them on smaller rocks in the foreground, you can actually use them as a plant for the front of your tank. I don't do that. I use them here for this canopy section, sort of. And in a few months, when everything is grown in, I think it will just look amazing. I think it looks amazing already. And now let's insert the cories, the peppered cories. One community member helped me find out the species. I didn't know it because I have one big peppered cory in there already. And now he has some friends and they already enjoy is covering their new tank. Let's continue with nerite snails. So we have the big black nerite snails already in the tank. What we have now, or what I had now, are the zebra nerites. You can see them here. And some red-rimmed melania snails. Check them out on the bottom right. They are already exploring their sand substrate, and they will love the sand substrate because red-rimmed melania snails are burying. They are burying through the day, so you rarely see them during the day, and they get out at night because they are mostly night active. And I hope it will work out with the Callitrichoides, Cuba, with the small plants in front, because they have small roots, and if a species digs a lot and changes the soil, this might lead to problems with them, but we'll see what the future brings.